Greetings, Father Joe here, friendly neighborhood pastor, coming to you from St. Patrick's Church in lovely Highland Mills, New York. Today we have the memorial of Our Lady of Sorrows, and we focus on the Blessed Mother standing at the foot of the cross. Her heart would be pierced as with a spear. Our first reading is from Timothy. We've been reading Timothy, and Paul tells Timothy he'd like to get there, but if he doesn't, then he knows Timothy should know how to behave in the household of God, the church of the living God. And then he says the pillar and foundation of truth. We need to take the church seriously. The church is the pillar and foundation of truth. The question is, do we live up to that as individuals and as a church? So one of my professors, I think it was in graduate school, it might have been in the seminary, he said when we say things about Mary, we can also apply that to the church. And so on this memorial, we remember Mary standing at the foot of the cross and how she watched as her son died. And as she watched her son die, her heart was broken because his humanity died. And whether she knew about the resurrection, I think she did. She may not have fully understood it. But there's another element to this. When Jesus died, the glory of the Lord was removed from his body. And in the breviary, we're reading from the book of the prophet Ezekiel. And in readings for yesterday and today, we have the people turning away from God. Ezekiel actually has this image of men standing in the holy city with their backs turned toward the temple and worshiping the sun or worshiping to the east. And then 2 chapters later, in chapter 10, the glory of the Lord leaves the temple. And I remember the first time I read this or was kind of aware of what I was reading, but I broke down crying. My heart was broken. The worst thing that could happen would be that the glory of the Lord would leave the temple. And so we have Jesus on the cross, and St. John said this is how he is glorified, by being lifted up. And when he dies, we have great compassion for his physical death, but also our hearts as a church, we should not be left unaffected by this tragedy. And I think one of the reasons I'm thinking about this today is our society and our church have turned away from a lot of what makes us the pillar and foundation of truth. We have the whole abortion question, and I understand having compassion for women who are pregnant. And I think we have to do more about that. I think we need to respect the rights of women so that they're not abused, they're not raped. But I think we have turned our back on the life of the child in the womb. And so we can stand with Mary. Mary is at the cross, and we are experiencing the cross in our own society. Do we mourn for the loss of that young child? Do we mourn for the death of the mother physically, but also in terms of morals, losing the glory of the Lord in her life. We need to we need to remember that God loves us, and he wants us to love other people, and he wants us to be there for other people. The same way Mary could not change the situation of Jesus on the cross, but she was still there. I think of the people who go out and pray in front of abortion clinics. They're not bombing abortion clinics. They're not, attacking people. They're praying. They're like the Blessed Mother. And they feel in their hearts this great sorrow for the babies, and hopefully also for their mothers. So today, on the memorial of the sorrows of our Blessed Mother, she stood at the cross, we can unite ourselves with her sorrows 2,000 years ago. And we can ask her to be with us in our sorrows today. God bless you.